Hey guys, it's Mike and Josh from RLC Motorsports. Today we are bringing you all something to sit at home and think about. If you own a Ford Super Duty or are thinking about purchasing a Ford Super Duty, you're probably like a lot of guys out there that are like, man, what do I do? Do I put a leveling kit on it? Do I put a lift kit on it? Do I put 35s on it, 37s, 38s, 40s? What do I do? That's a huge question we get asked all the time.
Yeah, I mean, because there is such thing as being maybe too big for some people, but you also don't want to be too small. You got to find like what's in the middle that fits what you're looking for that's going to make you happy.
And that's right. That's exactly right. And that even goes for the guys that are looking to run big wheels with rubber band tires. We were talking about that earlier with the customer. And then we've got our customers also that want to go with a smaller wheel and a bigger tire because they're focused on ride quality. You know, that's a major piece of the puzzle.
And better looks.
They're better looks, yeah. You know, everybody has their own style. That's what's great. But the big thing that we get asked most commonly is, hey, if I have this Super Duty, what can I do? What type or size of tire and wheel can I put on this truck? And some guys are okay with cutting the fenders and cutting the bumpers. My opinion, I'm not a fan of it.
No. And a lot of people, so you've got the truck in a stock platform, but they may have never seen it in a lifted or level. So
Exactly.
they have an idea of, hey, I want to run 37s, but they've never had a 37 in their life. So they don't know how big of a tire that is. So hopefully today in this video, we'll be able to show you 3 different stages of your truck from a stock to a leveled to a lifted application to kind of give you an idea of overall size and what the truck's going to be at the end.
That's exactly right. And also there's another piece of this puzzle too. These trucks that we're showing you today, guys, are all Tremor trucks. Why is this a key piece of the puzzle? There's a lot of things. One, what is the factory ride height like compared to a standard Super Duty? And also another big key piece is all your Tremors come with a 355 rear gear, whereas your Lariat, your XLT, those trucks, unless they're special ordered, if they're a diesel, they're gonna have like a 323. They're gonna have a highway gear for fuel mileage. So this is something that plays a big part if you're thinking about putting bigger tires on it and how the truck will drive and respond for you. Now, let's get it going. Right here is probably what the bulk majority of guys have, a bone stock Tremor, right?
Straight from the dealership.
This truck literally has 100 miles on it. It is a brand new truck. It is going to be what a lot of our customers start out with. With that being said, a Tremor package, this truck is going to sit about 2 inches higher than what a factory Ford Super Duty, a Lariat, an XLT, an XL truck, a Platinum. I don't care what the trim package is, but compared to a regular 4-wheel drive, it's going to be about 2 inches taller. So you can put a 35 on it from right here. It already has a 35. Now the question is like, hey, do I want to keep it this height and tuck a 37? Or do I want to live on the edge, put a 35 on it, but put a wider wheel on it? You can put a 35 on this truck if you wanted to go with, say, something like a 20 by 10. You can do that. But any wider than that, we're going to start rubbing right here is going to be our major issue.
And I don't think the majority of the people out there that have spent as much money as you have on one of these trucks, the last thing you want to do is start cutting on your new truck to make a set of tires fit.
Wow, man, that's what the bulldozers do. Come on, let's take the sledgehammers that beat them in right here.
I guess if you're looking for a SEMA build, this is the prime way to start that. But I don't think we're looking to do that on these, so no.
No, that's a big point, guys. Like, you buy a brand new truck from the dealership, these trucks are expensive. Let's do it right. Do it the first time, the right way. Pay for it, be done with it. Don't be hacking it up. There's no need in that.
The one thing on the 37 comment, I would be cautious on it, depending upon what 37 you may look at doing, because a lot of those you can't get too narrow with the 37. They start getting a little wide on the 37, and you will run into an issue of where you do rub the control arm, and sometimes even the sway bars.
That's actually a really good point, and I didn't elaborate that. So let's scratch the 37s on a stock one, just playing it safe. Let's stick with the 35. Let's stick with a 9-inch wide wheel with a low offset number. We like to see something usually in the positive 18, positive 20 range, maybe positive 12s. Those fit really nice on a stock application like this.
Yeah, maybe even as far out to a 0, depending upon what the actual tire size you're putting on it
If
is.
they're doing something like a 295 size,
Yeah.
that's a really good pick. So that maybe, guys, gives you an idea if you're working with a stock platform. The next truck in our lineup is going to be another 24. For the guys that are looking to go ahead and level their truck, put a little bit bigger tire, put a 37 on it safely, this is going to be your next option right here. And Josh, in your opinion, would you say this is the most popular option?
I definitely do feel like a leveling kit option on a lot of these newer trucks is probably the more common build that we do on a lot of them. I mean, we do have some quite often that we do lift, but the leveling kit option seems to be the one that hits the sweet spot for most customers. They want the truck lifted a little bit, but they don't want to have to be climbing in and out of it all the time. They want to run an aftermarket wheel, they don't want to run the factory wheels, and they want to run as big a tire as they can. So with doing a leveling kit, it encompasses them to be able to do all of the above and get their truck looking like what they want it to look like.
So now, if we move up to our second choice in our categories today, this is a level 24 with a 37-inch tire package. In my opinion, I think it's probably one of the more popular options. Josh, you talk to customers every day.
Yeah.
What's your thinking pattern?
So the leveled option is definitely probably the more sought after, the more that we do the most, just because these trucks from the factory do set up as tall as they do. So with just doing a leveling kit on it, it does allow us to run that 37-inch tall tire that most people are looking to run with an aftermarket wheel to accomplish the look that they were wanting out of their truck when they originally bought it.
And that makes good sense. And this application is really easy to accomplish. Doing a leveling kit on any of these trucks is very simple. On this particular truck, we have done a ready lift kit on it and even utilized the factory shocks with shock extensions. So that'd be more of an entry level. Our next level would be going on up to a BDS or a Carly suspension, where we're replacing the front coil springs, we're replacing the shocks all the way around the truck, and also we're putting a track bar into place. This one, for what it's worth, does have a track bar relocation in it, but it doesn't have the full track bar replacement. So depending on your budget, that can dictate that piece of the puzzle.
This is a great option for the person that's trying to keep a budget in mind, wants to do it right, but don't want to break the bank after they just bought the new truck
Exactly.
to get the look that they wanted.
You got it. And this, when we start to look at these, if you get a chance, and we'll have our cameraman zoom in so you can kind of see the offset on these wheels that we went with. Once again, it's a positive 18 wheel. It keeps the tire tucked in. If you're like me, I don't want to throw mud down my truck every time I drive down my driveway. I live on a gravel driveway, throw rocks up. Yeah, that's that bad. I can't imagine if I had tires hanging out halfway out, because they've been covered in mud. And a lot of guys don't want to do that. You don't want to chip up the paint on your brand new truck. So this is another great option to keep it. It's zero running. This truck has zero running. Driving characteristics, I'm not saying to break the speed limit, but if you happen to be in Mexico and want to go faster than 70, you can drive just as hard as you want to, and it's comfortable. One finger on the wheel. There's no wandering. There's no anything.
Truck does, it rides really good. And that's one thing that you do get when you go up to a 37 with an 18-inch wheel.
Yes, sir.
Adding a little extra sidewall onto your tire does help cushion the ride and drive that much more.
And it's funny enough to mention that, because I think something a lot of people don't take into consideration. Tire prices are outrageous right now. Let's just be honest. And I don't care what brand of tire it is, they're all expensive. When you start looking at that, though, you have to think about it like this. Your tire is literally what touches the road first.
Yeah.
So if we put a cheap quality tire on it right out of the gate,
No matter what lift you put on it.
it's still going to ride like junk. You put a good quality tire on it, now we're setting ourselves up for the future to have a really good riding and driving truck.
Yeah. It's one thing we always try and stress. We sell a lot of Toyo and a lot of Nitto, we try and keep a quality tire on every build that we do, just because we do know we want to make sure that your vehicle is riding and driving as good as it can when it leaves. Because the last thing you're going to do, like you said, buy a nice lift kit thinking you're going to have the world and how it rides, and then you went with a cheap tire and you can't stand driving it because it's jarring your teeth out.
That's a fact. And something we definitely are willing to talk to anybody. If you watch this video and you're like, hey, I don't know what to do, call us. We'll be glad to explain different tires and try to work with what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
You know, we get customers all the time that want a really aggressive tire, but then when you sit down and kind of break it down, actually, they will never get to use a true off-road tire for what it's built for. So they suffer ride quality on the road, and in return, then now they're upset about that. Going with a tire that matches what you need, that's the way to do it.
Some things just don't make sense, like rubber band mud terrains, but you know, that seems to be a thing that everybody does.
Yeah, we talked about that. Okay, guys, we're going to check out the third one in the lineup. So, Josh, this right here, we're actually just finishing up right now. We're going to do a whole video on this truck because it has the best of the best parts on it. Everything done the right way.
Yep.
When we get time, we'll do a whole nother video, so stay tuned for that. But this truck has a 5-inch pullover suspension from BDS on it, okay? And we got a 38-inch tire wrapped around an 18-inch wheel. It's a nice progression. With that being said, this truck, we could have done a 40 on it.
Yeah.
Would that have been realistic? Okay.
Yeah. I think we definitely had to lose the mud flaps because the mud flaps would not have cleared on the 40. But other than that, I don't know that we honestly would have had to do much to the truck to clear a 40. The
Okay.
38 fits in it so nicely that I think a 40, if we wanted to have pushed it, and
We
especially
could've.
if we wanted to, we could have.
But we'd have been right on the verge of having a trim. And like we said earlier, we're not trying to take a brand new truck and have to go to cutting. We want that truck to legitimately look like it came from the factory with upgraded parts, such as this. Really to sit there and think about at the end of the day, guys, for everybody watching this video, what do you really want to achieve with your truck? Aesthetically, how do you want it to look? And then functionality, how do you want it to work? Are you going to be towing? You know, something that we didn't discuss is if you go with a level truck like this in the middle, now we're going to run into this issue where that if we load it heavy with a big trailer, we're going to look like one of them squatted trucks. We don't want to do that. That's the last thing we want to do, okay? So with that being said, we've got airbag options to put on this truck. We can fix that issue. So don't worry about that if you do a leveled kit and are worried about it squatting when you're towing. And also, you know, some of the guys I speak with are worried about blinding upcoming drivers or oncoming drivers. Once again, you can airbag it, don't have to worry about it. This truck, even though it has a 5-inch kit on it, if you look at it, it does still have a 1-inch high rake in the rear. So it's not going to be in the situation where it has to do that. So, you know, I wanted to just focus on these things. I will say this, I think these trucks are absolutely awesome. This one, it's got a winch on it. That one's got a winch on it. That one doesn't. If you're getting Super Duty, you know, hey, you can make jokes with your buddies that own Rams and Chevys. You can tow them out. Or, conversely, these Fords can get towed out on their own now.
Yes, I agree.
See, he agrees with everything I say. This is great. I'm waiting for him to tell me, no, I'm wrong.
No, but that is 3 different options from a stock to a lifted application. I do think that, like we talked about, the leveled is one of our more common options that we do
And more
too.
popular. Yeah.
Just from the simple fact that you're not really losing any functionality out of this truck. Like you mentioned, towing.
Yes.
You need to do any type of towing, or you still need to work the truck. You're not getting into a position where you have to run such a big drop hitch that you don't feel comfortable towing heavyweight behind you, or whatever you may be doing with the truck.
Or gooseneck clearance. That's something you guys have got to take into consideration. Ford already has a deep bed. Put the truck on 37s, you have got to make sure your gooseneck will actually clear the bedside, or you will clearance the bedside with your gooseneck.
You don't gotta worry about it once.
Yeah, do it one time and it'll be over with. But that's something, guys, you got to take into consideration with what you're planning to do. You know, for reference, Josh, DJ over here.
Yes, sir.
Everyone out there, this is DJ. He's our in-house go-to for size reference. How tall are you, DJ?
About 5'10".
So you're 5'10". So 5'10", guys, okay? That's a pretty realistic number to a lot of truck owners. I am 6'6". Josh, you're 6'3"?
6'3".
So with us, these trucks may look a little disproportionate. You being 5'10", what I want you to do is stand next to these trucks up by the mirrors so we can give guys a reference of what it looks like. You know, how big is this truck truly? Okay, so that mirror, you're gonna walk right into it with your nose if you're not paying any mind. How about beside the level truck? Oh yeah, so it's down at your shoulder now. Yeah, you're still gonna walk right into the mirror with your face up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So this right here actually gives us a real life reference, guys, for you to think about and say, okay, man, that's how big that truck's gonna be when I go to that next stage each time. And if we went to a 40 on like that 5-inch truck, it's gonna add another inch roughly of real height.
Yeah. 2-inch taller tire, 1 inch on the bottom, the real height gives you 1 inch.
Guys, thank you for tuning in today. If you're watching this and you have questions, call the shop. Josh will absolutely be glad to answer any questions. If I can get to the phone, I'll be glad to answer any questions. But before you lift your Super Duty, do your homework on it. Okay, yeah. I will try to answer the phone if Josh calls me and says, hey, get the phone, okay? That's more realistic.
No, 100% agree with everything you said. If you've got a new Super Duty trimmer or just Super Duty in general, and you're like, I want to do something with it, I just don't know which way to go, feel free, please give us a call. Our number will be here or in the description of the video. Reach out to us. Whatever we can do to help you, let us know, and we will. Other than that, thanks for watching the video. I think, as you said earlier, the blue gray truck at the end, you'll have a new video coming out on it, just kind of going over everything on it. So stay tuned for that video. But other than that, we'll see you in the next one.
See you guys. Hey, Josh, what were you supposed to say? What was it? Like?
Hit DJ.
Hit DJ. DJ. He already gets
No, it was hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, and ring the bell.
Ring the bell. I don't know what the bell is, but I support it. Okay?